नाराय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम्।
Krishna starts beautifully. He says, "O Arjuna, let you start seeing whatever exists, all the Stavara, Jangama, universe, everything which no ordinary man can see, which no ordinary person can see." He says, even rishis, munis, even they have not seen this. Even they don't know this. Next sloka. Natu mam sakyase drashtum anenaiva svasakshusa divyam dadami te chakshu pashyame yogamaishwaram. Oh Arjuna, you cannot see me with these ordinary eyes. Let me give you the divine eyes, Jnana Chakshu, Divya Chakshu. Only through that you can see my cosmic form. You can see my cosmic energy. First thing we should understand, can it be really seen? These three questions. Can it be seen? What is the qualification? What happens when you see? These three questions is the whole chapter. Can it be really seen? I tell you, it is possible. It is possible. There are so many enlightened masters who experienced this, who experienced this consciousness. Let me narrate an incident from my life. After 9 years of tapasya, meditation, long tapas, at one point I was totally frustrated. I started thinking, what is happening? Am I wasting my whole life just reading few books, following those few books, just reading some few books and following few books, trying to practice those few books in my life? Is there really something called enlightenment? Or am I wasting my whole life? At one point the fear started coming. And I started thinking, the essence of whole life, the cream of the life is youth. I am gambling with my youth. I have just poured my youth into this tapasya. I have sacrificed my youth for this tapas. I started thinking, is it worth? Is the game worth? Suddenly, after a few days, I felt a deep depression. Whatever can be done is done. Because whatever I think as a spiritual sadhana, I started doing. I did not leave even a single inch, 1 inch. I tried my best, all possible things. I used to sit inside the firewall. I used to create a firewall, 6 feet diameter, and I will sit inside and chant continuously, do the japa, so that I will not fall asleep. And not one or two. Like this, hundreds of types of sadhana. I thought, whatever can be done by my effort, I think I am done. I finished. Still, if it is not happening, either there is no such thing as enlightenment, or I cannot achieve. But strongly the thought came, I think there is no such thing as enlightenment. Just these few people are cheating the whole humanity, just for their ego fulfillment. All these things I started thinking, really. I started thinking all these things. Then I started doubting the whole system. I lost faith on the whole system. I used to have a beautiful Ramakrishna's photo, which I worship every day. I used to worship every day that photo. He was the first inspiration for me. Ramakrishna and Ramana Maharshi. They were the inspiration. And when the trust is lost, I became so angry and so much depressed. I just took the photo, threw it such a way, the frame was completely broken. The glass frame, it broke. And it was lying. I was staying at the time in Omkareshwar. And I was having a japamala with which I used to do japa, which was my great friend. Practically hours together I will sit and do japa. And the japamala is supposed to be the object which is worshipped, or the maximum respect is given to that object, almost like a life. And I used to respect that mala. And that depression, I just thought, let me throw all this nonsense. I just took that mala, that anger. I told, not only this mala, I am throwing this mantra which I used also, let both disappear. I threw that in Narmada river. Decided, no more meditation, no more spirituality, enough. All these things. I struggled so much. I think these fellows are doing a big game. All these so-called enlightened masters are doing big game. Whole thing is game. I just threw everything and decided to drop everything. I dropped everything. The seventh day, I joined in their game. The experience happened to me. The seventh day, the experience of enlightenment simply happened. The experience of cosmic consciousness simply happened. Never the experience left after that. We may think, is it possible really to experience these things? Please understand, I was also in your place. Just because I travelled in the same path, out of courtesy I tell you, honestly this can be experienced. Solid truth, I tell you, this is a promise. This can be experienced. I have no vested interest to convince you about this ideology. Please be very clear. I have no vested interest. Yes, except a simple courtesy. All I have is a simple courtesy. Some of your friend is driving little further in 101. You see the traffic. You just ring up and ask, is there traffic continuously? Can you tell something about how the road is? Will you not have a simple courtesy to tell you, no, there is no traffic, road is clear, only in that area I think little jam. Come, don't bother. Will you not have a basic courtesy to give you that much of guidance or understanding? Please understand, just with that same basic courtesy, I am telling you, it is possible to experience. Never think it is not for me. It is for everybody. It is possible to experience these things, this truth in our life. It is verily possible to experience the cosmic form in our life. Because unless you are sure of the possibility, listening all these things is a waste. Please be very clear. It's such a beautiful, intense thing. If you really don't believe that it is possible, or really if you feel it is not, one more story. If you believe that it is not going to be possible, or it is not possible, don't waste your time unnecessarily listening. It is just waste of time listening. Before listening to these great truths, I wanted you to understand it is possible. The first thing we need to know is it is possible. Only then whatever Krishna says will work on our being. See, when you go out, if you really experience this cosmic form and go out, it's really great. I'll be so happy. Or at least go out with a glimpse of it. Let there be a glimpse when you go out. For that glimpse to happen, if these words of Krishna has to work on you, means first thing you need to be convinced of the possibility. It is possible. It is not just words. Let me tell you openly, directly, I promise from my experience, it is possible. It is possible. First thing. Next thing, what is the qualification? What are the qualification? By giving this experience to Arjuna, Krishna proves there is no need for any qualification. Because Arjuna has no qualification. Neither he took the responsibility, nor he understood completely about the teachings of Krishna. All he did is only one thing. He is fortunate to be in the presence of Krishna. That's all. All you need also only one thing. You should be fortunate enough to be here without being caught in traffic jam. That's all. There are thousands of probabilities. You could have taken today off. Every day I am going and listening the same thing. He may change the words, he tells the same thing every day. Today let me rest. You could have thought, alright, 1 hour driving there and sitting there and coming back, big work. Let me watch TV today. You could have. But and one more thing, there are so many other places to go, more funny. More, you could have had more fun. There are so many other choices. But among all the choices, you chose to be here. That is only qualification. Don't bother, there is no need for any other qualification. One more thing, by you being here continuously after listening these things so many days, automatically your unconscious has started accepting these ideas, these truths. Be very clear, if your unconscious or subconscious doesn't accept these words, you will not come next day. There are so many you have dropped. You will not come next day. Somebody came and told me yesterday, Swamiji, nowadays the moment I get up from my bed, I am waiting when it will become 5:30. When it will become evening 5:30. If you are waiting, means all these words have already entered into your being. So trust you are ready. That's an important thing. Please understand. Trust you are ready for this experience. Big problem. Many times, even if they are qualified, they don't trust they are qualified. That's a big problem. Because continuously, these so-called religious preachers have created so much of guilt in you. Continuously they blamed you. You are not qualified, you are doing this wrong, you are doing that wrong, you are doing this sin, you are doing that sin. Continuously you are blamed, disrespected. Because of that, you lost confidence about yourself. You lost faith on yourself. Now, if you are after listening so many days, again you are here, that itself is a solid proof. Your unconscious has accepted all these ideas. Consciously you may fight. What he actually wants from us? Why is he sitting every day and talking? Consciously you will never be able to surrender. That struggle will be there always. That struggle will be there always. But you being here proves your unconscious has already started enjoying these ideas. You are fortunate to fall in tune with the great thoughts of Krishna. And especially if any of you, when you get up early morning, if you think, when it will become 5:30, let me go to temple. If you have that thought, be very clear, you have completely fallen in tune with these great thoughts. After these slokas, we will enter into a meditation. At least let us pray to the Parabrahma Krishna to give us a glimpse what he gave it to Arjuna. Arjuna has no qualification. Whatever qualification necessary for experience, nothing. Arjuna has got nothing. When he can give it to Arjuna, why not to us? Why not to us? And surely we will enter into the meditation and hope to have at least a glimpse of what Arjuna had. The qualification, first, is it possible? The possibility. We understood it is possible. Next, the qualification. We understood by being here we are qualified. Over. Somebody goes to Ramana Maharshi and asks Bhagavan, what is the qualification for enlightenment? He says, are you alive? He said, yes, I am. That is the qualification. Enough, you can become enlightened. Nothing else is necessary. You exist, your existence is enough. That is enough qualification for your enlightenment. Be very clear about that. For other things, you need qualification. For the cosmic experience, nothing else needs to be done. And at the most, if you put something as qualification, the openness. And unless you have it, you will not come every day here. If you are coming every day and listening, please be very clear whether you believe it or not, already you have openness. Because you can't believe you are growing, you struggle with yourself. Please be very clear, one more thing. I want you to understand one more thing. The moment you believe you have the qualification, you will start transforming yourself. So you never believe that. You never allow that belief that you have qualification to enter into your being. You always keep one step. No. This has to be corrected. Only then I am qualified. This has to be corrected. Only then I am qualified. Now I tell you, drop everything. You are qualified. By you very being here. By your very presence, you are qualified. Next thing, what happens when you experience? The third question. Here starts Arjuna, the Krishna's words. Nadumam chakyase drashtum anenaiva svachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. Arjuna, you cannot see me just with these ordinary eyes. You need divine eye, third eye, Divya Chakshu, to see my cosmic form. I am giving you the divine Chakshu, the divine eye, let you see my cosmic form. What is this divine chakshu? What is this divine eye? Let me tell you my experience. When I was 12, I started doing some meditation. I can't even call that as a meditation. It's like I was trying to play with the technique. A great master, Annamalai Swamigal, he is a disciple of Ramana Maharshi. At around the age of 10, he taught me, from where thoughts are coming, just start seeing. I should narrate that incident also. It's a small but nice incident. Once when I went to see him, he was talking to a group of seekers. And he was telling, I was taken by my parents to him. My parents are some relatives, they took me. Some elders. He was talking to them. We are not body. We are Atman. No suffering or pain touches us. When I heard that, I was surprised. How can it be? I came back to the house, I was thinking continuously. If my mother beats me, I feel the pain. In India, kids will be beaten. No 911. You can't call any 911. Kids will be nicely beaten. If you do any mischievous things, they will give you a nice blow. And they will have that stick also. They will blow nice. They will give you a nice blow. And I used to think, when my mother beats me, I have the pain. And especially in the village, they don't bother. In cities, it will be a little decent, but in villages, they will take a stick and you will have a good puja. How can this be true? He says, we don't suffer by pain. We don't suffer by suffering. Nothing touches us. I wanted to experiment. I went to the house and took a blade, knife, and cut my thigh to see whether I have pain or not. Not only I had pain, they took me to the hospital, they put all the stitches, and still now the mark is there, big mark. And again my mother gave me the puja, usual puja. You idiot, what are you doing? From where did you get that knife? And I had pain and suffering both. And I started thinking, what happened? This Swami taught us no suffering, no pain. Here I came and experimented on me. See, experimenting on others is easy. Arjuna is an intelligent guy. After understanding all these things, he started killing others. He never experimented on himself. He never cut himself. That's very easy. But experimenting on yourself only needs intelligence. A little courage. And I had the pain, suffering both. After a few days, I told, please take me to that Swami. They took me to that Swami. I asked him, see, what have you taught me? You told that we will not have pain, we will not have suffering. I went and tested it on myself and I am having pain. Then he told, did I tell you to go and cut yourself? Then he made a beautiful statement. My dear boy, don't worry. I know now you have pain or suffering. He made such a profound statement. Still now I can say that one single statement has transformed my life. He said, you may have pain and suffering now. Don't worry. This attitude of analyzing the truth, this attitude of searching the truth, this courage of experimenting the truth will liberate you from all pains. Go ahead. This courage to experiment with what you are hearing, this courage to play with these ideas, I promise you will be liberated. And he told me, just do one small thing. Start searching from where your thoughts are coming. I was a small boy, and moreover I was irritated that time. Now I understand what he said. To tell you honestly, now I understand. I have so much of gratitude for him. But that time I was irritated, and I thought he is somehow avoiding me. Because he is not able to give right answer, he was somehow avoiding me. And I was thinking one more thing, now I can remember very clearly. There was some sweet and fruits around him. The devotees brought. I thought he will give me that little bit and console me. My eyes were on that sweets and fruits. I was thinking, he will give me some 1 or 2 pieces and console me. At least I can eat that. To tell you honestly, I neither understood what he said, nor convinced about what he said. Anyhow, he is telling me, anyhow, the elder respect, and you can't fight much. So, only that mood was there. And he told me, just do one thing. When thoughts come, see from where they are coming. I heard, I said all right and came away. After a few days, somehow I thought, why not try? Playfully I used to sit and try. After 10 minutes I feel bored and get up and go away. I used to playfully do the technique, very casually. Not thinking something or expecting something. I never had that idea that will give me any glimpse or that will give me some experience. Very casually I used to do. This happened when I was 10. Around 2 years I was playing with that technique. I don't even know it's a technique. I don't even know anything. All I know is, he told me if I start doing that, I will go beyond pain. I will not have any pain, any suffering. That much only I know. Because he told me you will not have any pain, suffering. And how to understand that, do this technique, you will understand. That's all. Nothing else I know. I have no idea of God, Brahman, Jnana, Atma, nothing. Nothing. I was just playing with this technique. One day, at foothills of Himalayas, in foothills of Arunachala, my native place, Arunachala, one evening, I was sitting and trying to do the same, that from where the thoughts are coming. From where the thoughts are coming. It is evening, with closed eyes I am sitting. I was just seeing from where that I is raising. I don't know, I have fallen into such a deep meditation. Suddenly something opened. Something happened inside the being. I felt as if I am being pulled inside, sucked inside. And next moment, I felt it happened like a next moment, I felt like some door has opened inside me. Suddenly I was able to see complete 360 degree of this side and complete 360 degree of this side. And I know it is very difficult to understand what I am saying. All you people know is only 120 degree vision. 120 degree vision. 120 degree you can see. That also not completely. If you have to see intensely, you will be able to see only 30 degree. 30 to 45 degree you will be able to see intensely. In a broad way, 120 degree. That's all. And that also if you have specs. This is the vision you know. And suddenly, I don't know how you will be able to understand. If you understand, understand. Otherwise I can't do anything. Suddenly, for a single moment, in a single moment, I was able to see, and one more thing, I was sitting with closed eyes. I was able to see completely this side 360 degree and this side 360 degree. All four sides, the temple the side, the temple behind me, and the hill in front of me, and the city in the side, complete 360 degree. And not only that, this 360 also, the sky, the hill, and the rock on which I am sitting, and behind the temple which was behind me, whole thing. Of course, very difficult to comprehend how can it happen or how it happened. All I can say is, I promise again, it is truth, it happened, that's all. No other way I can explain intellectually. Simply the whole thing I was able to see. And not only I was able to see, the next moment I was able to feel, not only I am seeing, it is me. Whatever I was seeing, whether the plants, or the hill, or the temple, or the city, whatever I was able to see, I felt the whole thing is just me. First, I was just pulled inside. Next moment, I was able to see complete this 360 degree and this 360 degree. And next step, I felt it is completely me. The whole thing is me. It was such an ecstatic experience, such an intense experience. It took more than at least 3-4 hours for me to open my eyes. After few hours only, I opened the eyes and I felt like I have the bliss fever. Same feverish mood, but blissful, not suffering. 3 days that mood continued. And after that, suddenly, the tremendous fear took over me. Tremendous fear that something wrong has happened to me. And I tell you exactly what happened in my mind. I thought there is some ghost sitting on that rock. That day evening, it was evening, the ghost caught hold of me. And now I escaped from the ghost. And I decided never to go to that place again. And I used to go towards that area only to my school. From house to school, if I have to go, I have to cross that area. Not exactly that rock, but that nearby area. I just started taking the other route, which is long route. I stopped going near that area because I thought there is some ghost. And if I go again, it will catch me. Because neither I know what is spiritual experience, nor I know what is cosmos, or I know Brahman or Tattva, Atma, nothing. One elderly sannyasini, she was there. I went and told her that this is what happened to me. She held my hand and saw my energy and told me, you are not possessed by ghost, you are possessed by God. Don't worry, you are not possessed by ghost, you are possessed by God. Of course, she encouraged me to do the meditation, but I never did for at least next 6 months. Next 6 months, I never did any meditation. I was afraid even to close my eyes. I thought that ghost will come and catch me. And one more thing, I never again went near that rock. After, I think next year, after day two, one of my friend, classmate, I met him. He is my close friend. We used to play together, and we used to go to the temple and all those things. And he is also little interested in that puja, meditation, all those things. So I took him to the temple and made him sit in one corner, and I started telling him, hey, few days ago I went and sat in that hill, something happened to me, and suddenly from that day I am able to see all the 360, all the front and back. I don't know what happened to me. That guy still is there, and actually he is now coming out with his reminiscences. What he felt first when I came and told him. Just next day I am a small 12-year-old boy, and I am catching one of my friend, and I am telling him, I am able to see all the side. I don't know what happened to me. And not only that, he said, fool, what are you talking? Something has happened to you. And I told him, no, if you try, try to keep some coin or anything behind my head, I'll tell you what is there. And I started telling him, you see that ant which is there, it is slowly coming up. There was a small tree. In the tree the ant is coming up. Am I right? And he put some coin or something. And he said, now which side I am showing? I said, head. He turned, now you are showing tail. And he did something like these few things. When I told everything clearly, till then he was smiling and laughing. I told everything clearly. Well, the first thing he did is just moved a little bit that side. And then he told me, I am urgently feeling to go for one. I'll come back, be here. Within 1 minute I'll come back. I'll go to the one and come back. He ran, never came back. And I am sitting there. And he never came back. Now actually, he came to the ashram. He told to one of our disciples, I am the first person who received energy darshan, but I missed it. I am the first person who received energy darshan, but I missed it. Because neither I know what is happening, I myself don't know what is happening. What was happening? Fellow got frightened and ran away. And I am shouting, hey, come here. Go to the truck, you will also experience this. If you want to know this, if you want to understand this, go to the truck. You will also see. And said, I neither want to go to the truck, nor I want to have all these things. Something has happened to you. I'll go and tell your mother, and they should take you to doctor. They should take you to doctor. He ran away. Anyhow, even though the fear was there, the fever of bliss, the whole body was boiling with joy and ecstasy. Once in a while, I used to have that small temptation. Even if it is ghost, what is there? I can go and sit, let it catch once more. It is really nice. It is really nice. After all, it is so blissful. But other side, fear. Usually the story which we hear, ghost will eat you and you will die. That side, fear, one side. That type of fear. The other side, it is so joyful, so blissful. Never I understood what exactly happened. At least for next 1 year. After that, again I had a great opportunity of meeting one more enlightened person. He gave me the whole clear explanation, and of course the seeking started after this experience. Only after this experience it has become intense. Of course, after that 9 years of long tapas, all the tapas is done only to have that experience again. And next time when it came back, I think body and mind was ready. It never left. It just stayed with the being. I think that vision of 360 degree is what Krishna says, Divya Chakshu, divine eye, Trinetra, the third eye, or Anya Chakra. With 2 eyes, you can see only 120 degree. When the third eye opens, not only this 360, and this 360 also. You will start experiencing the whole thing as you are. And just you feel the whole thing is you. That is what the cosmic consciousness. What Krishna calls us? Cosmic consciousness. I felt the whole thing was living. How? You see, how you feel this body is living. How you feel your hands are living. When somebody touches, when somebody hurts, you know it hurts. And how you feel it is living. Because you feel this is living, you are able to handle it. And you feel if anything is done to this. Same way, I just felt the whole thing is living. I could clearly experience the whole thing is living. Just like this body is alive. That is what? Expanding your body consciousness to the universal consciousness. What you feel with your body, feeling the same thing with the whole universe is what I call cosmic experience. How you feel with your body, same way feeling with the whole universe. The problem is, even with our body we don't feel alive. That's the problem. Even with our body we don't feel alive. All we need to do is feeling the same way with the universe, how you feel with the body. That experience only Krishna gives to Arjuna. Same way as I got frightened. First time when I had that experience, Arjuna also gets frightened. He is also totally shaken. Of course, you need a living master at that moment to guide and help. People ask me, who was with you, Swamiji, to take care, to guide you, to help you? And I always tell them, Arunachala. Arunachala is the living master. How? When you see, for an immature baby, you need an incubator. The premature baby, not immature. Immature baby, we are all immature babies. Premature baby. Premature baby. For premature baby to survive, you need to put that baby in the incubator. Incubator will supply everything for the baby to grow. Same way, for a person to become enlightened, Arunachala is incubator. Arunachala is the incubator. Just being there is enough. It just takes care. The energy takes care. Here Krishna says, let me give you the third eye. Let you see and experience the universal consciousness. Now, after this sloka, this is a beautiful thing which we need to understand. After this sloka, neither Arjuna is speaking nor Krishna is speaking. Suddenly Sanjaya is speaking. After the first chapter, Sanjaya has totally disappeared. Of course, Sanjaya is only describing the whole thing to Dhritarashtra. That's different. In the whole Gita, after the first chapter, you will not hear a single sloka from Sanjaya. Here suddenly Sanjaya is speaking. It is beautiful. Symbolic representation. Neither Arjuna is able to speak because he is in the experience, nor Krishna is speaking because his voice is beyond audibility. He has gone beyond the audibility. His voice can't be heard by us. He has gone beyond the audibility. The frequency is totally different. Universal consciousness. Cosmic frequency. If he says something you can't hear with your ordinary eyes, with your ordinary ears. And Arjuna also can't speak because he is in that ecstasy. He also lost himself. That's why now Sanjaya speaks. Sanjaya uvacha Yeva mukpa tado rajan mahayogeshwaro harihi darshayamasa bhartaya paramam rupamaishwaram. Sanjaya says, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead born, displayed, opened, is cosmic form, universal consciousness to Arjuna. Anegavaktra nayanam, anegadbhuta darshanam, aneka divyavaranam, divyanegotyadayudam, divyamalyam baradaram, divyagandanulepanam, sarvascharyamayam devam, anantam vishvato mukam. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited number of mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine appraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared all over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Ramakrishna says, when I experienced the universal form, cosmic consciousness, I am not able to pluck even a single flower from any tree, because I felt all the trees are garlands offered on the Vrat Purusha, offered to the God. All these trees are garlands by themselves on God. How can I take any flower from his garland? Here they say, so many ways, unlimited number of mouths, unlimited number of eyes, means Krishna has given the universal form, shown the universal form, given that universal conscious experience to Arjuna. Now Arjuna sees complete this 360 and this 360. He is seeing the whole universe and all the people who are in that battlefield. He sees everybody inside Krishna. Means he sees everybody as universal consciousness. He sees the whole as his own being. He sees complete this side 360 degree and this side 360 degree. Not only he sees, he feels it is he. He feels one with that. Divya Surya Sahasrasya Bhavet Yugavaduttida Yadi Basaradu Isasyat Vasastasya Mahatmanaha. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. All these things which can never be understood by ordinary intellect. Actually, when I experienced, it was like hundreds and thousands of suns, light shining, and hundreds of moons cooling effect. It was not burning. It was hundreds of suns, light, and hundreds of moons cooling effect. It was so pleasant. And Tatraigastam Jagat Krishnam Pravibhaktamanegata Abasyat Deva Devasya Sarire Pandavastata. Arjuna saw in the body of the Supreme Lord the whole universe divided in different ways as united in one form. Universe is divided in so many ways. Sun, moon, planet Earth. Here he sees the whole thing as a one form. All of us should understand these stotras, this description, because it is so beautiful. After understanding this description, we will enter into a meditation and pray to the Parabrahma Krishna to give us all the glimpse of what Arjuna received. Tadassa vismayavishto Rishtaro Dhananjaya Pranamya Sirasa Devam Kridanjalirabhashada. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. He was astonished, bewildered, and his hair standing on end, and Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. This sloka means he has dropped his ego, he has disappeared, dissolved into the divine. Arjuna Uvacha. Now we can't say Arjuna Uvacha. This word should be understood as Bhagavan Uvacha. Because now Arjuna is in the same consciousness of Bhagavan. He is just making all these statements so that it will be recorded for us, for our sake. Pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam stata buddha visesha sangan brahma namisam kamalasanastam rushim sarva nuragam divyan Anega bahu daravaktra netram Pashyami tvam sarvadonantarupam Nantam namadyam napunastavadim Pashyami vishveshvara vishvarupa Gridinam gadinam chakrinam cha Dejo rasim sarvado diptimandam Pashyami tvam durniriksham samandat Diptanalargat yudima prameyam. Such beautiful ways he is describing. We may think why he is describing. Please understand, he is describing so that we will all be inspired to work to achieve this form, this experience. So that we will all be inspired to move in this path. That's the reason he is describing his whole experience. He says, "O Lord, I can see all the demigods in your body. I can see the special union of living entities. I can see Brahma sitting on the seat of lotus flower. I can see all the sages and the divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, I see many arms, bellies, faces, eyes, and limitless form of you. O universal form, I cannot see you. I cannot see your beginning, middle, or end. I cannot see your beginning, middle, or end." Actually, when you see complete this side 360 and this side 360, and even when a sphere disappears, what can you see? You can't even see anything. There is no beginning, middle, or end to whole. Your form is so difficult to see because it is glaring, effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs and discs. I see you wearing diadem, holding a mass and discuss a mass of magnificence, shining everywhere from all sides, difficult to be seen. you as blazing from all sides, like the luster of the sun and limitless. Giridinam gadinam chakrinam cha tejo rasim sarvado diptimandam pashyami tvam durniriksham samandat dipta nalargat yudima prameyam tvamaksharam paramam vedidavyam tvamasya visvasya param nidanam tvamasya sasvadat dharma gopta sanatanastvam purusho madome. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place. I recognize you as the appreciable supreme being, the supreme foundation of this universe, imperishable, immortal, maintainer of the religion, and the primal supreme male. Purusho madome. Purusho madome. He says, you are everything. Anadimadyantam anantaviryam anantabhagam sasisuya netram pashyami tvam deepta udasavatram swadejasa vishwamidam tabantam. You are without origin, middle or end, with unlimited power, limitless arms. Your eyes are like the moon and the sun. Your brilliant face are like the fire, warming the whole world with your own radiance. Dvaya prithivyor rimandaram hi vyaptam tvayaikena disascha sarva logat drushvat pudam rupa mukram tavedam logatrayam yadidam mahatman amihitvam surasanga vishanti keshit bida pranyalayo grunandi stubandit swasti yuktva magarshi siddha sankam stubanditvam studi vipushkalabi. Again he is explaining what all he is seeing. He says, you are without origin, middle or end, with unlimited power. You alone spread throughout the heaven and earth through all other directions. O Supreme Soul, Paramatman, after having seen your wonderful form, all the worlds are consternated. He says, the whole thing is moving. Amihitvam surasanga vishanti kesit bita pranjalayo grunandi stvatvit yukva magarshi siddha sanka stubanditvam studi vipushkalabi. There is no other record so clear of the cosmic frequency, of that universal form, except Gita. It gives such a clear record of the whole incident, whole happening. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you, some of them very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. And hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying all, peace. Echa Sharma Prasida Devesa Jagannivasa Ami Satvam Tridarashtrasya Putra Sarve Sagaivani Bala Sangai Bhishmo Drona Suda Putrastadasau Saha Smatiyai Raviyoda Mukyai. Beholding you in wonder, all as part of your cosmic consciousness. He says, whatever is divine, the energy. O mighty One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed, are shaken by your form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. As they are disturbed, so am I. Now he is slowly coming down. From this sloka we should say Arjuna Uvacha. We should start now. Arjuna Uvacha. The moment that fear came, immediately he has become Arjuna. Now Arjuna starts. You should understand, it is just your fear separates you from cosmic consciousness. Let me tell you one more incident which happened in my life. After enlightenment, one day I was sitting in a forest in Tamil Nadu. There was a big snake lying just next to me. With my eyes open, but I was drowned in that consciousness. I was in that meditative mood. I was not in ordinary mood. That snake was lying next to me. I don't know whether 1 hour over or 2 hours over. Suddenly, when I came out of that meditation, slowly one thought in my mind appeared that, oh snake. Till that time, I did not think it is snake. And you will be surprised. The moment that thought came in me, my mind, snake, the snake started thinking, man. I could see clearly. The snake also got the thought, man. Then naturally, it just looked up, put the head down and moved. The fear in me appeared and the fear in the snake appeared. Universe responds to you. Cosmic energy responds to you. The moment Krishna says, so am I am little frightened, he has become Krishna. I always tell this to people. Two things, instinct to survive and instinct to possess. These two only makes you man. Instinct to survive out of fear. Instinct to possess out of greed. Over. Here the instinct to survive has appeared. He has become Arjuna. But we don't understand. When you drop that instinct to survive, you become Krishna. You exist forever. You exist forever. You become Bhagavan. You become universal consciousness. But we hold on to that instinct to survive. Now, Krishna slowly comes down. Now the Arjuna slowly comes down and becomes Arjuna. Napasprusham deeptamanega varnam Vyatananam deepta vishala netram. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors, touching the sky, your gaping mouths, understand. Still now he was saying, there was no beginning, middle and the end. Now he says, you are touching the sky. Means he has started coming down. Now he has started coming down from that experience. Now he has started slowly settling. He says, touching the sky, your gaping mouths, your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of my mind. Please be very clear, as long as you want to maintain the equilibrium of your mind, you will be in this mad world. There is no such thing as equilibrium. What you think as equilibrium is not equilibrium. It is not equilibrium. Here he says, he wants the equilibrium. Balance means he wants his being to be under his intellectual control. He wants to know the cause and the effect. He wants the cause and the effect to be under his control. As long as cause and effect is under your control, you feel as a leader. Your ego is strong. But the moment cause and effect is taken away from you, you are at loss. You are no more a leader. You are just a drop in the ocean. He is afraid of that. And he is coming back. He is not able to stay in that same state forever. He comes back. Damshtra karalani chame demukani drishtvai vakala nalasannibani. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions. I am bewildered. Ami chatvam tridarashtrasya putraah sarve sahaiva nibala sangaihi Bhishma drona suda putrastadasav sahasmatiyai raviyoda mukyai Vaktranidet varamana vishanti Damshtra karalani bhayanagani Keshit vilakna dasanantareshu Samrut yasyante surnidairuttamangai. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. And he describes the whole scene. Yata natinam bhagavom bhuvegam samudrameva pika mukadravanti tada tavami naraloka veera vishanti vatran yabhivijvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great barriers enter blazing into your mouths. I think now it is time for us to meditate. It is time for us to enter into the meditation. He is describing the whole scene. Now, we should enter into the meditation to experience what Arjuna is seeing, what Arjuna has seen. Please be very clear. Again the 3 points. Is it possible? Possible. What is the qualification? You being here. Now all you need to do is put your whole consciousness intensely into the meditation. Please sit straight and close your eyes. I'll guide you step by step. Please close your eyes. First, pray intensely to the Parabrahma Krishna, universal consciousness, in whatever name you know or whatever form you know. Pray to that energy to give the glimpse of his being to you, to give at least the glimpse of experience which Arjuna experienced, which all the enlightened masters experience. Pray to the universal energy. It responds to your thought. Don't think your prayers are just dead words. They are living communication. It responds to your thoughts. Inhale and exhale. as slowly as possible, as deeply as possible. Slowly start visualizing inside your head the whole universe is moving. Just feel clearly inside your head the whole universe is moving. The space which is in front of you, in your inner space, the whole universe is moving. See the sun, moon, all the planets, the whole universe moving in your inner space. Visualize intensely, clearly, the whole universe moving in your inner space. Slowly relax from the body. Be one with universal consciousness. See very clearly you have become one with the whole universe. You are seeing clearly. Sun, moon, stars, planets moving just disappear into this universal consciousness. Forget your name, forget your form, forget all the conditionings, your profession, your gender, your country, everything about you. Just drop you into this universe. Forget your identity. Just see the whole universe intensely. Just see the whole universe moving intensely. All the planets, all the stars, all the suns, all the moons. See very clearly the universe moving. disappear in the universal consciousness. Just become nobody. Lose your identity, root cause of all the thoughts, your identity. Let it disappear in the universal consciousness. Experience the bliss, fulfilling bliss of the whole universe. Expand and disappear in the universe. dissolve into the universal consciousness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax. Let us pray to the Parabrahma Krishna intensely. Let him shower his grace on us, give us the glimpse of universal consciousness, and make us all experience, be in one with and radiate eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Gramsachanuramardanam Devagi Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum